Have you ever wondered what would happen if the voices of the dead weren't just echoes from the past, but calls, invitations, traps? What if the souls that lie beneath the earth were tired of waiting and wanted to live again, through you? In today's video, Voices from the Cemetery, the souls who want to trade places, will delve into a disturbing and downright sinister true story that reveals the darker side of something you thought was harmless, a simple walk through the cemetery. Prepare to hear tales that defy logic, involve unseen monsters, unexplained deaths, and the kind of fear that sticks in your soul. This story is not for the faint of heart. But if you stick around until the end, you might understand why some people say that some voices shouldn't be answered. In a quiet town in the countryside of Romania, an ancient and almost forgotten cemetery sat on top of a secluded hill. The graves there were said to be as old as the village itself, and many of them didn't even have names, just strange, hand-carved symbols, as if they had been made by someone who had never learned to write. Locals avoided the place at night, and the elders taught their children that if they heard someone calling out to them from the cemetery, they should never, under any circumstances, answer. It was an old rule, passed down through the generations, but with no apparent explanation. Until, in 2012, a group of students decided to prove that it was all just superstition. They entered the cemetery with cameras, flashlights, and a lot of arrogance. In less than an hour, only one of them came out. The only survivor, Adrian, was found walking barefoot along the road, his eyes completely black, as if the iris and pupil had disappeared. He didn't speak, he only whispered. He repeated his friends' names in reverse order, as if he were calling out to them from the bottom of a well. Taken to the hospital, he remained in a trance for 3 days, until he woke up screaming and begging for them to close the door to the hole. He then fell into a coma. During the investigation, the police found the group's cameras. The footage showed the young people walking among the graves when, suddenly, they began to hear voices. At first, they were faint. But every time someone said hi or responded, something in the environment changed, the light flickered, the sound became distorted. Until one of the young people, Livia, said out loud, "Who's there?" It was at that moment that the others began to disappear, one by one. O video mostrava formas escuras, pois imperceptíveis, envolvendo os corpos. Segundo estava ali, no próximo, apenas o vazio. Como se tivessem sido apagados de realidade. O mais perturbador veio ao final de filmagem, a câmera queda no chão, e ao fundo, a voz de Adrian sussurrando, eles querem ser. Eles querem viver de novo. O governo local lacrou o cemitério. Mas a vila inteira entrou em luto. Crianças cumpriram acordo no meio de noite correndo, dizendo que houve mamichamento do lado de fora. O problema? As mesas estavam dormindo, ou o pai mortas em nós. Testemunhas relatavam for pessoas entrando entre os túmulos, e se aproximaram, os rostos eram familiares demais, mas distorcidos. Como se fossem cópias imperfeitas, tentando lembrar como era ser humano. Local legend has it that, in ancient times, a group of monks tried to banish an ancient evil from the earth using forbidden rituals. They failed. Instead of sealing away the evil, they gave the trapped souls a form of communication, their voice. And ever since, the cemetery has become a trap for anyone who dares to listen. It is not ghosts that roam there, but sentient, hungry entities that can no longer bear the prison of death. When someone answers, even with a simple yes, they connect. They invade. They switch places. The body of the living becomes the new home. And the original soul stays in the grave, waiting for the next chance. The story spread, but many did not believe it. Influencers, legend hunters, and adventurers visited the site. Surviving footage from some of them shows similar patterns. First, the voices. Then, the sound of earth being turned over. Finally, complete silence. But there is one video in particular that became known as the exchange, posted by a Romanian channel with only one subscriber. It showed a young man speaking in a soft, almost hypnotic voice. He smiled, said he missed it, and the voice responded, "I want to go back too." Then he kneels in front of an unmarked grave and places his hands on the earth. The video ends with him looking straight at the camera, but his eyes are no longer the same. If you've been reading this far, you might think this is all just a myth. But think about it, how many times have you heard something strange at night and decided to ignore it? How many times has a familiar voice called you, but the person was far away, or asleep? Sometimes, the most logical explanation isn't the real one. Sometimes, what we call madness is just someone trying to warn us. The voices in the cemetery are still calling. Waiting. They know how to imitate. They know how to deceive. And most importantly, they know that sooner or later, someone will answer. And when that happens, another body will be freed. Another soul will be imprisoned.